All right, let's go. She said it was to protect her children. A sacrifice, she said. But behind her shop counter, something darker was brewing. This is the true story of Leonarda Cianciulli, the woman who turned desperation into something unspeakable. Italy, 1939. Leonarda Cianciulli lived in Correggio, a quiet town with quiet secrets. She was a mother of 4 and deeply superstitious. Leonarda would lose all her children. Vincenzo would be next. Unless she did something drastic, Antonio would fall in the war. Little Vincenza, she would die young. Even her 2 daughters, their lives were forfeit. The eldest, Antonio, worked in construction, while little Vincenzo stayed home from school to help out. The 2 girls were in between. And Leonarda, well, she ran a small shop selling lottery tickets and homemade soaps and candles. She began by visiting the local church. She spoke to the priest. "You want to help your friend?" he asked. Afterwards, the 3 of them went out to dinner. It was Leonarda who cleaned the house, disposed of the evidence. Until one day, a woman named Gilia came to visit. She too was looking for love. Leonarda helped her write letters. She even invited her over for a proper introduction. And that's when everything changed. When the police came asking questions, she answered truthfully. She had seen Adelina arguing with a trio of men. She dipped bread into the mixture and ate it herself. But behind those bars of soap, something else entirely. She was going to protect her children, by God, even if it meant becoming a monster. She didn't know where they lived. She hadn't seen them since. She nodded, tears streaming down her face. "Then help us. You can join us." The 3 men explained what they wanted, what they needed. And Leonarda felt herself agreeing. Leonarda smiled, shook his hand, and followed him inside. It was there she learned that her friend had lied. This man was her lover, not her husband, and he was not alone. 2 other men were in the room. Afterwards, she helped dispose of the body. This time, she used a different method. She boiled the remains, mixed them with caustic soda, broke them down until there was nothing left but greasy water. Then she saved that, dried it up overnight. What she ended up with was so vile, so unspeakable, it's never been discussed publicly. She was sentenced to prison, where she remained until her death in 1970, but we do know she cut it up and made bars of soap. She gave them to neighbors. She used them herself. She told him what the fortune teller had said, but he only laughed. There was no need for such drastic measures. Her children's fates weren't set in stone. He told the police, who searched the house and found the evidence. When confronted, Leonarda confessed. The 3 of them, they had a plan. They lured women back to this house, stripping them of their money, beating them, doing terrible things. One day, fortune teller Madame Serafina delivered some devastating news. So Leonarda made a desperate bargain. Whatever she needed to do, whatever the cost, she would protect her children. But then Leonarda met a woman named Adelina. She was lonely. Her lover had recently left. He was seeing someone new. Adelina wanted Leonarda's help to write letters to him, begging him to come back. They sat together at the kitchen table, sipping hot tea. And Leonarda had an idea. She could help Adelina in person. She would go with her to say goodbye, to try to win back her man. When Adelina's lover saw them coming, he looked surprised. He stood up and introduced himself. "A friend of my dear Adele, how nice." "How lovely," Leonarda said, but she felt dread creeping up her spine. These men, they were dangerous. Then the youngest man stepped forward. He touched Leonarda's arm. It started with Adelina. She brought her to this very room. The 3 men showed Leonarda how it was done. For a while, Leonarda continued to sell her soaps and candles, unaware that she was now part of something much bigger. Julia never left. Leonarda joined the others in the back room. Together, they did terrible things. In fact, she baked tea cakes and served them to unsuspecting friends. But eventually, her spree came to an end. Julia's brother was suspicious. He knew something terrible had happened to his sister. In court, she described the process in eerie detail, smiling at times, joking with the judge. She said it was all for love, for protection, for sacrifice. Thanks for watching Last Words Lounge. See you next time.